First of all, we are sitting here with a woman who is the #1 course creator on the Teachable platform.
#1. How many course creators are on Teachable?
Oh, tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. Mm-hmm. And we are interviewing the #1 course creator on Teachable, guys. We're lit, David.
What's going on, family? David Shands. I want to give you a special invitation to the Morning Meetup, themorningmeetup.com. It is the only organization that gathers every single morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we help you learn entrepreneurship, grow as an entrepreneur, become an entrepreneur, or you just get to be in an environment, a network of all entrepreneurs. Literally hundreds of entrepreneurs gather on a Zoom call every single morning, Monday through Friday, okay? So I want to give you a special invitation to help grow your business and your brand all this year, okay? Every single day. You eat every day for your health. You brush your teeth every day for your hygiene. I need you to learn and grow every single day for your mindset, okay? So make sure you go to themorningmeetup.com. It is only $1 trial. You don't need a promo code. Just go $1, themorningmeetup.com. Check it out. If you like us, stay. If not, after that, it's $79 a month. But I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy yourself, okay? So go to themorningmeetup.com. I love y'all. See you in the morning.
The Social Proof Podcast. Streaming now on all platforms.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, where we got Donni rapping for some reason. And we find the dopest people that do the dopest stuff and can teach how to do it. You can teach how you do it, right?
I can.
Because some people are good at what they do, but they can't really teach how they did what they did.
Well, see, that's why I got a great course, because I can teach how I do what I do.
You better sell the course from the
I love
very
it from
beginning.
the beginning. Out of the intro.
So we got a really good episode, I believe. This is going to be really good.
This is going to be a good episode, but before we get into it, because I was reading some of the comments and people miss hearing us talk about how our week was. So how was your week?
Oh, my week was awesome. We were in Miami. Mm-hmm. My goal was to go to Miami and just let go.
Okay.
But I grabbed more stuff. Okay, so I was podcasting, hanging out with Donni, driving her around like a taxi driver. I went to some other interviews, and I did not accomplish the goal at all.
At all.
Which is why I'm going back.
Yeah.
Well, see, there you go.
And I'm going to intentionally do nothing.
Hey.
No. We're doing everything in the business.
Okay. Wait, explain.
We're working.
Yeah.
Nothing.
We're working.
Everything.
Yeah, you've got.
I think we got different goals. I really feel like we got different goals. Oh man. Oh yeah. So hold on. So.
I'll talk about my week while David is getting us together. So I had an amazing week. I was also in Miami at the very last minute. I think I booked my flight hours before departure. And we went out to Miami, which was supposed to be me getting clear in my 2021 vision, because my business is growing at an exponential rate. And so you know how it goes.
Amazing.
It's so amazing, but you know how that happens. Like, you got all these things and now you have all these to-dos. So because I'm a systems and operations person, I have to sit down and systemize my own business. And so Miami was supposed to be like, 4 or 5 days of just in my room with room service getting clear. Well, then you arrive and there's no room service because of COVID. And then this guy is there and he's like, yo, you gotta come network, you gotta come meet such and such. And I'm at
hold on. First off,
he's probably hooking you up too at this point.
Yes.
First off, I say, yo, we're going out to eat. Where? Let's go. I don't have to convince her. So, oh my gosh, I'm there.
I'm there. I'm absolutely there.
He's like, I was hungry. You know what? This could wait.
And then I left. So Rashad and Troy was out there. They interviewed Master P, which was really, really dope.
Who'd you interview?
I interviewed Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone.
It was lit.
Awesome.
Yeah. But the moral of the story is I left Miami and she was still at it.
I was lit.
She was so outside. She was outside. Because I think Trapper was out there, Byron was out there,
Sharnice was out there, MG the mortgage guy was out there. Shoot, there were so many people. I had my girl Sydney with me out there.
Rashad, Troy, Mike, the whole Wild family.
Spectacular was out there.
CEO Maddie
Marcus
J.
Rosier was out there.
Marcus was there. We going
Maddie J.
My phone call. I'm like,
are we going next week?
We are.
We're going next week.
Yeah.
And we're going again on the 18th.
Yep.
So y'all gonna go twice?
Okay, I don't know. I think
I
I'm
might just
capping
go
right
and
now.
stay.
To be honest with you, Kat, I know Donni in her
Kat right
business,
now.
in her system's mind, she's not going 3 weeks in a row.
can't.
I know that.
Terry, how was your week?
It was amazing. So we just had a conference. A lot of my like investor super friends. It was called Master the Trade. So we were helping everybody put together their trading plans for 2021. So did that, got out of it, wrapped up. Like my class has it's 8 weeks, but the first half finished. So wrapped that up. So it was amazing. Then I went to sleep when I got here.
Yeah, you've been here for 2 days, and you've slept the whole time.
Yes.
Well, you went and got
and
pampered.
I read a book.
You read a book. Let's talk about this book you read.
We'll talk about this later. We don't do props on set, just an FYI.
Yes, we do. We sure do. So please, do tell. Continue. What is the book? What is the name of the book?
You know, it's called Dreams Are Built Overnight.
By whom?
It's written by this guy. His name is David. But what's the last name?
Shands. David Shands.
David
So
Shands.
you can get on Amazon, right? Dreams Are Built Overnight?
You can. It was actually a really great read, especially for anybody who's thinking about leaving their job or quitting their job. Great gems. Great
And you can get it at Amazon.com.
You can.
Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you just Google it?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna put it in my bio actually.
I
Yeah,
think
you can
that's
put it in my
right.
bio too. And I see you marked it up and you got like ear notes and all that.
I
You
do.
really?
I did the teacher thing and everything.
That's
I
amazing.
dogtailed the pages I liked. I underlined. There's
And
a lot of good stuff
this
in
really
here.
leads me to believe that the reason you made $10 million with your course is because of that book.
Leading can be deceiving. But,
Leading can be deceiving.
It had something
Terry,
to do
I
with it,
love
y'all.
it.
Get the book.
I
All right,
love
cool.
it.
Yeah, I want to jump into this because
This is about to be insane.
Oh, absolutely.
First of all, like, we usually ask the guests to introduce themselves, but you're so soft-spoken that I think you need my voice
okay.
to say, first of all, we are sitting here with a woman who is the #1 course creator on the Teachable platform.
Number one.
Number
How many
one.
course creators are on Teachable?
Oh, tens of thousands.
Tens
You're
of
number
thousands.
one.
And we are interviewing the #1 course creator on Teachable, guys. We're lit, David.
We are lit.
We're super lit.
Which means this course works.
It does.
You don't become number one by just being able to market good.
Right. They have results, which is important. Like they're making $1,000 in a day. They're retiring their moms. They're paying off their debt. They're
Wait,
buying-
we're skipping. We're skipping.
sorry.
We're skipping. We're skipping.
Introduce yourself
Okay,
first.
Yeah, yeah,
You introduce
yeah.
yourself first. Because I'm getting
Introduce
excited.
yourself first.
I
Yeah.
thought you were doing it.
No. I just had to highlight the fact that you're the #1 course creator on the Teachable platform.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
kid.
yeah,
No.
and just for the record, what does that look like in terms of revenue?
So only 2 course creators made over 10 million in 2020, and I'm one of the 2.
Girl, you better what? Ah.
Yeah. The next tier is like 1 million, and like 100 people made 1 million, and then over 6 figures, about 823, I think that's the number, made over 6 figures in their courses. So when you think about that, and the fact that I'm 2 of the ones who made over 10 million, like we're exponentially above other creators.
I love it. We're gonna get into this, but go ahead and introduce yourself first.
So hey, my name is Teri Ijeoma. I am a day and swing trader. I quit my job as assistant principal of the elementary school to travel full time and
Makes so much
trade.
sense.
And I was affording to travel by trading. Like I didn't seek to start a class. I didn't seek to teach people. I just wanted an exit strategy because my bosses were crazy and them kids were crazy, and I just needed to do something different. And while I was traveling, people started asking me to teach them how to trade. And so I did my first class in Thailand, my second class,
Wait, first class in Thailand. I think I did my first class at the crib
Oh, for sure.
from the computer.
with the webcam.
Yeah.
When was this?
This was,
first class.
oh, thank you. This was 2017. I quit summer of 2017, started traveling. First place was South Korea, and then second place was Thailand.
Wow. Amazing.
And then the people loved it, so they said, well, Teri, let's do another one. So the next month we went to Vietnam, and I did my second class in Vietnam.
I'll be trying to find the right venue in Atlanta. You
We
going-
were struggling to find a hotel in Miami.
Right.
She's like, we're doing
Goodness
classes.
gracious.
So you weren't teaching people in Vietnam and Thailand, and you were bringing people were traveling to come learn from you.
Well, all of the expats that I was traveling with, we found like a co-working space, and then I would host it there and say, hey, we're going to do a intro to the stock market class. And then other expats would come and different people
What's
would
an
sit in.
expat?
Somebody who's from the U.S. but in a different country. So it's like other travelers like me that were working at that co-working space.
So anybody that goes from another country to another country, they're called an expat? Okay, gotcha. Donnie didn't know. Go for it. I was trying to clear it up for her.
Appreciate it.
Shut up.
So second class was in Vietnam. Then I kept going. I was like in Australia, I was in Fiji, and then came back home and I was wrapping up seminary, and my people in Dallas were like, well, we know you're gonna do a class for us. We saw it on Instagram. So last week of my seminary degree, I said, hey, can I just borrow a classroom? I think I'm going to teach a class on how to do stocks. And
You are so sweet. Don't you just get this real super sweet
Oh,
vibe?
yeah, super sweet.
Super sweet.
We're going to get
Thank
you a
you.
man.
It's the Lord. I
We're about
appreciate
to,
that.
we are.
we're about to
we
hook
are.
it up with this $10 million woman. Okay, guys?
He gonna be blessed and highly
Absolutely.
But yeah, so did this class in the seminary, and it's like 71 people showed up. And for me, that was big because I charged like $69 a ticket, and I had made like $3,000, and that was close to my assistant principal salary.
Wow.
So I was ecstatic, like, okay, this is the game plan. I'm gonna do one of these every month, and I would just do an intro to stocks. But then people started asking me from different cities, like my friends in Atlanta, my friends in Chicago. They were like, "Oh my gosh, Teri, you gotta come teach us." So I said, well, let me put this online. And I had heard about, like, you don't have to have the class yet. Just tell them you have a course and see if they'll take it. Exactly. 2 people signed up for the course.
And it's lit.
Wow.
Girl, I was like, dang, now I got to go make the course.
Yes.
I thought nobody was going to buy
Yes.
it. Made the course, and I mean, we can talk about the story, but now over 5,000 people in the program, people making thousands of dollars a day, and it's been amazing.
You know what's cool? Teri has this challenge where in her group, she has put together this challenge to challenge people, 1,000 people to make $1,000 a day. And you're almost there.
We are.
You're almost there. The number is what?
$969.
$900,000
in a day.
969 people in her group. It's 20% of your group, I believe.
It is.
Yeah.
So if we have 5,000 students, 1,000 is 20%. So like the top students are hitting this $1,000 in a day mark.
Right.
Others are still killing it. They hitting like $100 in a day, $200, like at $300 a day. No, even at $200 a day, that's $48,000 extra dollars a year.
Yes.
So like you don't even have to be making $1,000 in a day, but they are killing it.
Wow. Well, I want to start back on how you started because you're a teacher. Was your plan to go up the corporate ladder of?
So what's crazy is I went to undergrad at MIT, and I interned on Wall Street. So that's where I first kind of got introduced to stocks. It was like,
What was your major in?
management.
Management. Okay.
I was gonna
Business management?
Yes.
Okay.
I was gonna be the boss of all the engineers because they thought they were the best, and I was like, I'm gonna manage you. But it's still great. But with that, so went to MIT, interned on Wall Street, and then decided I'm actually going to go into consulting. So I thought that I was going to be like the CEO or CFO or head of marketing for like some big Fortune 500 firm. But one of our clients was Teach for America. And so I ended up going and working for their national team, and that's how I got into the education route. So like I had this kind of knowledge of business, knowledge of stocks, and I would trade on the side, but I was still in education, training teachers, then went into a ministry where I was overseeing the after school program, and then went into assistant principal of elementary school.
Well, how did you start trading though? Like how did you start to learn this skill?
So great question. Around 2010, when the stock market fell, I was actually gonna go invest in some houses because I also loved real estate. And my realtor, he kept talking about how he was making so much money in the stock market. And so I started thinking, am I going to put $30,000 of like down payment into this house, or should I put $30,000 into the stock market? And I opened like an E-Trade account and started trying to teach myself how to trade. Right. So that was the intro for me.
Okay. And that was 2010.
That was 2010.
So was this gentleman your mentor?
Nah, girl, he was just a realtor.
He was just a realtor. But did he help you to make your first decision in terms of what you would invest in?
No. So I'm the type of person that if I just hear someone talk about something that's working for them, I'll go research it myself.
Okay.
So when he said, and at the time I think he was investing in like AIG.
Oh, wow.
Right? when the market has fell. And so when he said, I have an E-Trade account and I'm investing in AIG, I went and I opened an E-Trade account and then started looking at CNBC and looking at Jim Cramer and trying to figure it out.
Okay.
This is when Apple stock was $99 and this is like before the several splits. So before it hit 700 and then split again, they were wondering like, will it hit 100? And Amazon was like $199.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
You bought Amazon at $199?
So I didn't, because at that time everybody was saying, oh, nobody's gonna buy online. Like that's not gonna be a good thing.
2010.
So what was the very, very first stock that you invested in?
I bought Cisco.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it sounds great, but no. It ain't moved since 2010.
Really?
But at that time, they were talking about the Internet of Things. And I thought, like, this is going to be great. Everybody's going to get on the internet. But I think that's why, as a trader, we can't always go by the trends and what, people will say, like, we can't go by the fundamentals if we want to actually make money. Sometimes we have to just go by what is actually moving. What does the chart say? Because the same thing of, yes, you're right. The Internet of Things came true, but Cisco's stock didn't move. So, there's a difference.
Gotcha. So when you fast forward, you're like I'm guessing putting money here and there. Were you just investing in stock long term, or were you trading at this point?
At this point, I was trying to figure out how to make it work. And I also, I'm a full-fledged entrepreneur on all cylinders. So I also had like this real estate business, and I was helping teachers relocate every summer. Wow. I know, right? There's so much. But I would help teachers and get like $50,000 and $60,000 a summer, and then I would put that into the stock market. But because I didn't know what I was doing, I would lose most of it. Like I invested in Pandora. That didn't move. I lost like $20,000.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
When you say you lost the money, does it mean like you tried to trade? I guess we'll get into it, but I don't understand how you lose. Because once you have the stock, right?
But the stock can go down in value.
Right.
So like say I got in at $18 and then it goes down to $5. Well, I just lost all that money.
Don't it normally come back up though? Don't it bounce?
See, that's what they tell you, but not all the time. Not every stock is equal. Back then, like some stocks just aren't very good. Like Pandora went down to $3 and never came back up. But I thought, well, it's in cars and it's in TVs. So like it's so important to actually learn how to pick good companies, because sometimes the trend won't tell you the right stocks to pick.
Got it. Okay, so you're trading, learning.
Yep.
7 years of this. Now you're ready to quit your job. How much were you making in the market or trading when you quit your job?
Great question. So this is 2016 now. And my bosses are crazy. And I'm like, I need $300 to just replace my income.
A day.
Yep, $300 a day to replace my income. So I started trading. At first I was like,
I don't know what it is about bosses. They just get real aggravating when you're making money.
Oh, when you start making money.
You got a skill set.
Your boss starts showing out.
Right.
When you're 1 foot out the door.
And it's really nice when you have that like, I wish you would.
I wish you would.
Right now, because I will leave. I ain't got to be here.
I don't have to be here.
And then they start sensing that you had it. I don't have to be here.
Absolutely.
I had a conversation, and one of the ladies was like, because they had heard I was taking these classes. Because when I got serious, I started taking stock classes. And they were like, so I heard you taking these classes. Are you planning to leave us? And I was like, maybe. And after that, I got an improvement plan. They felt like I wasn't committed to the company. And I was like, I could do both. I could actually trade and be here.
Right.
I've been doing that all year.
Right.
But when they know that you can do your own thing, it starts getting real hard.
They apply pressure.
Real hard.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you're at your job and you're saying, listen, all I need to do is replace this $300 a day.
Yes.
This is 2016.
2016. So I took a class. My class was actually $30,000 a class for learning how to trade.
Wait, run that back. $30,000. You're on a teacher salary.
Right. Well, assistant principal salary.
An assistant principal salary. And
Making
you,
what, 60?
Yep, making 60.
and
so
you
not
have
enough.
to drop $30,000 up front.
I put it on a credit card.
Your belief was that big.
Yes. And see, this is why when people tell me like I don't want to pay for a class in order to replace my income, my thought is, well, your mindset about investing is already wrong. Like if you don't want to pay $5,000 to replace $60,000, that's a 1,200% return on your investment. But you don't even want to invest in yourself that much to. So yes, I knew that if I could put in this $30,000 and I'm able to replace my $60,000 income for the rest of my life, it would be worth it.
Yes.
So that's what I did. And like I said, I didn't have the money, but I put it on a credit card and I said, I'm going to make the money back to pay off the credit card.
Yeah. We can't skip that. You just said something really, really important. People don't want to invest $5,000 to make $100,000. I don't know if those are the numbers that you used, but there's a friend of ours who has a mastermind coming up that's $5,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And most people would say, I'm not paying that kind of money.
And he's my friend.
But you want, and you paid it.
Yeah.
But you want to, it's just that mindset of the person who says, I will not pay this $5,000, but my goal is to earn $100,000 and I want to do it quickly. I want to collapse the time frame that it takes to get there, but I won't invest $5,000 to make $100,000 in a year.
Yep. Yep. That's
And
real.
it's a skill set that you will never lose. So that means you can do it multiple years. Okay, if I did it this year and made $100,000, I can do it next year.
Right.
And people still don't realize
Right.
that one investment now gives you multiple years of return.
Yes.
So
I like the way you talking, Terry. I like the way you're talking.
So you invested $30,000. This is 2016.
Yeah.
And you're learning the skill set.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to start making money with this information?
It takes about a year to get consistent. So right away, I started making like a little bit of money. So it was like, okay, I made $100 today. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And then it was like, okay, I made $200 today. But after about a year, I started being consistent and I knew I could quit. So in 2017 is when I actually felt comfortable quitting.
How much were you making a day average at that?
About the 300.
About 300.
Okay.
Like I had a journal and everything. Okay, I made my 300. There was one time, no, my boss walked in the door and I had just made 3,000. That was good.
I
Say
wish
so.
you
Say
would.
so.
Right?
What?
Like
What?
the computer was right here and it said, you have exited the trade or something like that. I looked down and he was walking in. He heard it too. He just walked out because I was like, say something.
I wish you
And
would.
what?
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Did any of the teachers or any of the staff at your job ever say, teach me?
No, they didn't.
Interesting.
They didn't. But you know what? I kept it on the low because I was already having problems with my bosses.
Okay.
And like they were doing everything they could to make me feel like I was small or like I didn't deserve to be there or like the things I was doing was wrong.
Do they know that you're an 8-figure woman today?
You know, I hope so. I hope they follow me on Instagram.
If they see this interview, if you watch this interview, just
Yo,
comment.
what's their
I was
name?"
there.
Yes, like there was one lady and I think she really just wanted to make my life horrible. Like I did this one project. I was putting all the banners up in the hallway for the kids and she came back and she was like, well, I think you did a horrible job. And I'm like, why? What happened? She said, because one thumbtack is a different color than the other thumbtacks.
No way.
Really?
Aw.
And she was spreading to all the schools that my school didn't have good operations because of one thumbtack being the wrong color. And I know that it was just my janitor had ran out of thumbtacks, but it wasn't even, oh, your janitor did. No, Terry, you're not doing a good job because you don't pay attention to the details. Just
Look at
that
these
kind of
bulls
stuff.
and these bears. We pay attention to those details.
Right.
So
Wow.
Stock language, you guys don't know
how
about
did
that.
you exit? What was your, did you
Yeah,
exit
yeah,
in
yeah.
style? Was it a 2-week notice? Did
She's
you
so
walk in?
sweet. I know Terry probably said, thank you for the opportunity. It's been
Right,
nice.
You know what? I actually hid from having the conversation for about a week.
Okay.
Because I knew it was coming, and my boss actually wanted to give me a raise too. So my friend was actually in the hospital, and I hid in his hospital room. He wasn't even my boyfriend. I don't even know if he know this story. But I told my principal, like, my boyfriend is in the hospital. I can't talk. I gotta be here for him. And then finally, one day, at the apartment I had, there's like this outdoor patio, and it has like a pool and just like this wonderful cabana area. I sat at the pool, answered the call, and he was like, we're so excited for next year, want to invite you back. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't come back. And he was
so
like,
this is over the summer during the break.
This was over the summer.
Okay.
And he was so surprised because he had worked so hard to make sure that I could come back and that it would be nice for me. And I was just like, no, this was a toxic work environment for me. I'm not going to be able to come back. And it was just that simple. He actually is one of my church members. So I see him at church sometimes now.
He's never asked you? Does he know what you do?
So I think he does. You know how people will watch from there's this scripture, and like this one guy, he goes up in the trees, and then Jesus calls him down out the trees. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are in the trees of my life, and they've been watching. And it's like, if I were to call him and just say, hey, I don't want to say his name, but hey, how you doing? I'm pretty sure he'd be like, Teri, I'm so proud of you. I've been watching, but I haven't asked.
Okay. Okay.
So hold on, let me see your gram real quick. Do you not post like?
So I don't typically post about dollars because it's not safe.
Yes, not dollars, but like, I guess that's the whole game. Like,
That's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people who know me know. My students know. Like recently, a couple weeks ago, I retired my mom, and I made $133,000 in a day, and then it went up to $191,000 in a day.
Get out.
So they know that.
What kind of play was that?
Right.
Tell us about that.
You would think you're just
Teri,
so
you're just
regular
like,
and chilling on your social media.
Let me
You
go
just
pull Teri up.
there's a whole bag behind
what's
you.
interesting is I met Teri in a clubhouse room.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were on a clubhouse stage together, and I'm like, she's lit. And I went to her Instagram, and I'm like, is she lit?
You can't tell the litness.
You can't tell. Is she lit? Well, and that's the part that I love.
I love it.
I love it. Like, you don't have to. You're out here getting multiple bags. She's not getting the bag.
Right.
She's got the whole set of bags, right? And you'll go to her Instagram page, and you got 100,000 plus followers, and so obviously there's some catch to you, right? But it's just a bunch. You guys, if you look, you got to go and look at Teri. Teri. It's in the
Ijeoma.
But for those that are listening, Teri.
No, two I's.
TeriIjeoma as in Mary, A.
You gotta go and check Teri out. Like, you can absolutely tell that this woman has something going on, but looking at your page, I honestly would have thought influencer. And of some sort, right? Maybe she's some kind of influencer repping these brands, but you're like an entire cash machine, and you're smart. You're just intelligent. You're a sweetheart. Girl, I love it.
Thank you.
She needs to be a part of our mastermind.
Oh, I agree. We're going to Miami.
Oh, we are. We're going to do our own mastermind in Miami.
Okay, we're going to make sure we stay in the same hotel room.
Yeah, we got to stay in the same hotel.
Well,
same hotel.
I'm probably going to get a house. When I go, I like to travel in fashion.
Then we'll just stay in our
bedrooms. We just get a little mansion.
But real talk. So like recently I went to Mexico and got like this 10-bedroom house overlooking the ocean.
By yourself?
By myself.
First
And
of all,
then
did Teri
friends came.
did she just light flex on us?
She flexed.
She flexed. I don't even know if it was light. It was heavy.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was a heavy flex.
She said, look, Shands is like, well, we'll just share a hotel room. I mean, not a hotel room, but the same hotel. She's like, well, actually,
I
rent estates
Is this what
for
we're doing?
myself.
Can we go?
Yeah. So so my assistant will look at the house and then come on.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing next week. So people are coming.
That's going to be so. Oh, you invite people though? You just.
I just tell them I'm going, and then usually they say, I'm coming.
Oh, really? Let me ask my wife though, just to make
Okay,
sure it's
tell her
all good.
Yeah, I mean, because you're in a house. It should be fine, but still.
It should be cool, but I can imagine your people are coming, they're women, and I'm just.
No,
in the house.
My people are coming. Are everybody?
Okay. All right, for sure. All right, let's get back
Teri
to
is
the
about
podcast.
her bag.
We just got real selfish.
We did.
forgot the listener.
We
Okay,
forgot
we
the audience.
Okay. All right, cool. So, you quit your job. I really, really want to get into the nuts and bolts of trading? Because this is something that I'm super interested in. I was Rashad and Troy from Earn Your Leisure. They were in town. He's showing me, I made 40,000 a day, 50,000 a day, 30,000 today.
Yeah, and they're starting to trade options, so that's good.
They're trading options.
Yeah.
So I felt left out, honestly. And I'm like, yo, Troy, hold on. First off, we on the network. I feel like this should come with some training. I need coaching. So, but yes, it's something I'm super interested in now. So walk me from the beginning. I don't know anything about this. What do I do?
Well, first steps, if you're going to become a trader, is you have to open a brokerage account.
Okay.
And you need to do it with a robust broker.
Which one do you prefer?
I like one called TradeStation, but there's several good ones. So like Interactive Brokers, TD, Ameritrade. It just has to
Is
be.
E-Trade one?
So they're getting there, but they're not quite there. So
Robinhood is what.
There's tiers to this.
I was going to say Robinhood is what
okay.
everybody goes to because you get the free trade, and they think that that's a really interesting perk. My daughter has had Robinhood since she was like 14. She used it under my name because you have to be 18. But I think, didn't they stop like this whole GameStop play?
Right. So it's a couple things. Whenever there's a lot of volatility, oftentimes Robinhood will cut everything down so you won't be able to get in and out of your trades. Also, when there is like this thing with GameStop or AMC, they wouldn't let people get into the trade, the retail investor. But the institutions could still trade.
Right.
So if you have like, the markets are moved by buyers and sellers. So if you have institutions that are putting in big orders, they're going to move the market while the retail investor is locked out. And then another thing on Robinhood is the entry times are a little slower, and the spreads, they make their money off the spreads. So like, say you put an order in to buy Apple and we'll just make up numbers, like at $130. And I put in an order to buy Apple too. On a more robust broker, I'm going to get it at $130. You might get it at $130 and 75 cents. And you don't notice that that's that different, but they're making
That's how they make their money. So when you say that...
what was that? What was the, because I'm downloading it now. Which one do you prefer?
I like TradeStation.
TradeStation.
So you talked about, I'm downloading that too. You talked about something important because considering who our audience is.
Yes, that's it. Oh, sorry.
Considering who our audience is very important because I would venture out to say that more than 50% of our audience is probably utilizing Robinhood.
Yep.
And you said something about them locking you out of your trades so you can't get in and out of trades. And that's actually happened to me before, not in the stock market, but in the Forex market where I couldn't get out of a trade because of my broker, and I'm just bleeding money. And so for a beginner investor who just understanding the psychology of our audience and knowing what they think, because I also work with another investor, Trapper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wall Street Trapper. Shout
Shout out to Trap.
Shout out Wall Street Trapper.
I'm setting my account right now, so because I want you to walk me through what I'm supposed to do. So go ahead.
Knowing the psychology of most beginner investors. Number one, there's a fear associated with investing. People are scared to invest in this imaginary almost space. You're just putting your money out there. Yeah. But they also want it to be easy, right? And so Robinhood represents ease. What would be for a beginner investor, beginner to intermediate, what would be the place that they should start in terms of getting a broker? Something that they can understand is user-friendly.
Yep, so there's 3 tiers to brokers, online brokers. One is the Robinhood, Webull, get in, it's easy, we'll explain things, but you don't have all the functionality that you need to really be successful.
Okay.
Then there's the middle tier, that's the E-Trade. We give you a little bit more functionality, but our customer service might not be as robust as you really want if you're going to be a day and swing trader. Then there's the higher tier, the Interactive Brokers, TradeStation, TD Ameritrade. They are built for brokers, or they're built for traders. So the things I love about them is our entry times are faster. We're able to do multiple entries and exits. So like I can program my trades where I know exactly if I lose how much I'll have and if I gain how much I'll have. We call it set it and forget it. You can do that with TradeStation because they let you do 2 exits. But you can't do that with E-Trade, Merrill Lynch, none of the others because they only let you have 1 exit. So it's just about having more options with a better broker. And that's what you need when you're actually trading for income. And I think to the point of your students or for the audience, they should open a brokerage for where they want to go.
Yes, not for where they are.
Now.
Not for where they are.
Right.
So
And TradeStation is a good place to start.
yes.
Perfect.
I
just downloaded the app.
I'm setting up my account first off because I want to know what to press. I want to like walk people through like what to press, like things of that nature. If you have any questions,
Yes, couple things to let them know. One, it's gonna ask how you heard about us. Say Teri Ijeoma.
Okay.
it just says friend. It just says friend.
It doesn't say my name.
See, it says how did you hear about us? Oh, maybe you have to send me a link. See, it just says friend.
Keep going. Here I am.
Oh, how you get on the?
Oh, you're on the
Hold on, man.
referral
Hold on.
list?
Remember,
Is this your company?
no,
Keep it on it.
it's not my company.
How'd you
And
do
tell
that?
you the truth, if I do switch brokers in the future, I don't know when this podcast is coming out, I might switch broker partners. But for now, yep, I'm on there.
How'd you do that to where you're on the drop
You're on
down
the
box?
list
So,
because you
so
send
for
so
those that
many
are
people.
listening,
We have
it
5,000
says
students.
educational partner, email, friend, Google review, and then it says Teri. It's the only person's name on here. How did you do that?
Well, we have so many students in trade and travel that we've made it super easy for them to go ahead and get started. And for our students, they've been great. We have our own partner at the broker. So when our students are opening their accounts, we can call someone directly. Then they've also lowered some of our fees. They've been a really great partner.
Oh my
So
goodness.
you're an amazing affiliate.
Freaking boss, man. This is
sorry.
crazy. And it automatically does the promo code, so that's amazing.
You know
Yeah.
what's interesting, Shands, is because you're such an amazing affiliate of my brand, when people learn when I ask how they hear, your name pops up. It's a default.
Does it really? Oh wow, I'm a default.
You're a default.
Oh, I'm a
You're a
default.
default.
This is amazing. All right, cool. So I'm setting my
and
account.
I should, for law purposes, I should clarify. They're not a partner, but we have so many students come that they've went ahead and put my name on it.
Gotcha. So I do it as an individual, joint, or IRA? Just individual? I'm an
You do
individual.
it individual, but there's a couple things that I want you to make sure to check. It's going to ask you what type of account. Instead of doing a cash account, you want a margin account.
Okay, margin account is already, so I got margin account and then options trading, right?
Did you already go
So
through
do I
and
have
put your name
to?
in?
Yeah, I did all that. I put my password, set my joint up immediately. All right,
fast.
so a separate account is required to trade each asset class below. Do I click crypto too or no?
I think yes.
Okay,
They
just
have
click-
some really cool stable coins that give 4% interest. So your money is in there like a savings
Okay, wait.
account.
Hold on. Everybody go to the app store in your phone and let's go ahead and do this since we're walking through.
Download TradeStation.
Download TradeStation. Okay, pause the video.
This is a class right now.
We're going into class. Y'all want some action steps? Let's get your brokerage account set up. We're about these execution steps. Download TradeStation. So you're going to go in and you're going to enter your information. Pause right here because we're going to keep going. How'd you hear about us? Now you
Scroll
should be
to
back.
Teri.
You should be back. Scroll all the way down under the How'd you hear about us, and we're going to select Teri Ijeoma, and then you're going to enter your login and your. That's not a valid
Enter your
username. Is it just a name?
Whatever your
Yeah, put in
whatever
the username.
username.
I put my name in there.
Okay, so we're going to do that. Enter
So
your
while
password.
you're doing that, go to the next screen and say individual. Just click individual. Click
Well,
all
Shands,
four
you're
of them.
moving. You're moving.
Crypto, equities, options, futures, and future options.
And let me tell you what the difference is between individual and joint. So my mom, when she retires, like if I were to pass any money on to my mom, if I just give it to her outright, then she'll have to pay taxes on it. But if I do a joint account with me and my mom, then she has access to that account if anything were to happen to me, and she won't have to pay taxes.
Oh, so I should put my wife, right? Joint?
So so you can do joint if there's a family member that you want to have attached to that account.
Okay.
And these are things though that you can set up later, but I just want to explain what that is.
Right, so
joint
survivorship.
would be
or
so I could put my
tenants.
daughter. As long as she's over 18.
As long as she's over 18.
Okay.
Yep.
She is.
And it has rights of survivorship or tenants in common.
Rights of survivorship would be like if you were to pass away, then they would have everything.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
So,
we're setting this thing up. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're doing it now.
So all of this is in your class as well? Your course?
Yes, all the setup is the first step. We do it week 0 setup. So there's even more after this. This is like just the beginning.
This is just the beginner, and that's all we want, because then we're going to encourage people to go and get into your course.
cool.
Georgia.
This is dope.
We need an affiliate
All right, cool.
link.
As we're 100%. Yes, there will be an. How did I went out and then came back in and
Everything's gone.
maybe I'll just log in.
Yeah, try to
Okay,
log in with
said
your username.
So you guys, where we are right now is on the next page where you are selecting individual,
I know
joint, or
somebody watching
IRA.
this is over it. Like,
right?
yo, where's the interview?
Okay, so individual is just for you. This is the interview. We're in a live class. We're individual, and then joint, you want to select that if you have someone that you want to place as your beneficiary, so to speak, someone who can inherit this money that you make.
Yeah.
Then you'll go down under what type of joint account would you like to open, rights of survivorship if you chose joint. Now you want to enter your joint account holder's information.
Yep.
What would you like to trade? Go ahead and select all 4 boxes.
Yes,
Crypto,
select all of them.
equities and options, futures options. Then we're going to go down under equities account settings.
I didn't get to do that because my joint left. How do I do like the risk tolerance and all? Or does it matter?
Well, let me tell you some things about this because this is important. So definitely select options trade. Margin trading.
How can I get back into that? How can I get back to that?
Well, you're
beginner's
already
trade?
in.
I know, but I didn't get to set up everything.
Well, we have a partner that goes with my school, so we'll just have you call Corey and he can help you switch anything you want.
I'm gonna call Corey.
Get Corey on the phone. But right now for the audience, we want to make sure we select margin trading.
Yes, margin trading. And so here's the thing about margin and why it's important. So margin is basically like a line of credit. So, you know, if you buy a house, if it has equity in it, then they'll let you have such an amount of money. If you use it, then you have an interest on it. But if you don't use it, it's just there.
Yeah.
That they do the same thing in TradeStation. You get to trade with 4 times your cash amount. So if you have let's say you had $5,000 in there, your buying power would be $20,000. So that's why definitely suggest.
And Robinhood doesn't do that.
Yep.
They don't do that.
And there's other brokers that don't do as much. So TradeStation does 4 times cash. Merrill Lynch and some of the others only do 2 times cash.
Okay.
So that's big.
All right. Do we want to keep options trading on?
Yes, I teach stocks and options. So definitely options. And then in terms of risk tolerance, make sure that you do all the way over to speculation, because what it'll do is when you're an options trader, there's levels. If you're like level 1, the only thing you could do is buy a call, buy a put. But if you're at level 3, then you can actually start selling calls and verticals, so you can make money on the way down. And then at 5, you can start doing like naked trading, which is very speculative, but you want to ask for all the permissions up front. So
okay, got it. And then options trading level.
Put 5.
Okay. So you guys, options trading level. Then there's a commission plan, TS Select.
We do TS Select, because that's where like all the students in my school are in that plan, and then they can give you free trades. And we used to have a discount. So depending on if people sign up right away, they can get in on it. We have 20% off of options trades, but if they wait too long, that discount won't be there anymore.
Okay. But working with the sales rep.
You don't have to select that because I think you selected Teri.
I did.
But see if it'll do anything. Y'all put Corey Andrews there. There we go.
Alrighty. So if that populates for you, working with the sales representative, Corey Andrews, next, and then hit okay. And then we are.
Well, then you have to do more, and we probably should. Yeah, we don't have to do all that.
Yeah, so then you got an account established, and you'll go in and enter your personal information, and then set up your banking and all that stuff. I'm sure.
Yes.
All right, so you guys, you just got your very first lesson in
set
trading
up
live.
Options. Let's give him a round of applause. You set up the trade options.
Those broker accounts set up.
No, really, that is the first step, and people are always wondering, like, well, what do I do first? Open a brokerage account.
That's the first step,
and then fund it.
Easy.
It's so important because a percentage of you who are listening to this, including us,
buy something today. Can I buy something today?
We can.
You can. I mean, if you're in a different broker, but once you get that set up.
Say I fund this. Will the money be available?
It takes a little time to fund because you have to put at least $500 in the account. So it can take up to 2 weeks for the account to work.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So this is the first. This is the first step, right?
Yes.
And so the reason that I wanted to go through that live step by step like that is because
first off, I started doing it first. Don't act like it was your idea.
But you wanted to do it for you. I wanted to do it for the audience, right? Look, as much trash as they be talking about me, I'm looking out, right? I'm looking out.
I was very selfish right there.
I wanted to do this for the audience because just that simple step, because now do you see the level of excitement? Me and Shands both have trade accounts. We both have brokerage accounts, right? But just going through that step is a commitment step that makes you excited to actually go in there and finish the process. So we will be sending $500 over to TradeStation to fund this account.
So
and
you're
get started.
beginner too, right? Like beginner in options? Like have you traded options before?
Yeah, I trade Forex. So I have the Forex markets down, but
we're on the same level of options right now.
Yeah, we're on the same level of stocks and options.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. And do you use charts when you're trading Forex?
I am. I do.
Good. Mm-hmm. So that'll be a nice transition into stocks and options because you'll use charts again when you're doing stocks and options.
Dang, so she's ahead of me.
I'm a little ahead of you.
A little bit, but that's why you need the class. That's why you need trading.
Definitely need a class. Okay. All right. So walk me through like how the heck are people making these thousands and hundreds of $1,000s in a day?
Yeah, you just did $130,000 play. What was that?
Okay. And sorry, one other thing. Cool thing is once y'all fund it with the 500, there's a simulated account. So you can practice before you actually start doing
fake
it with
money.
real money.
Yeah.
So that's good about TradeStation too.
I like it.
Okay, so the things that I invested in Amazon because it had come down. So when you're looking at charts, you're looking for where are the banks buying and where are the banks selling.
Okay.
And
hold on. When you're looking at the charts, you're looking at where banks are buying and where banks are selling.
Yes.
That particular stock?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can see that in the formations of the candles. Like we're looking at candlestick charts, and there's actually formations that will show you where a bank has a huge order, like 1 million shares.
Hold on, Spanish.
Hold on, you got to tell people what a candle is.
Candlestick, formations of charts. I need I'm
there's
a third
the wick,
grader.
There's the candlestick, there's all this stuff. So let's just
explain the charts to me first.
In a very, very basic, elementary way. What are the candlesticks on the charts?
First off, what's the chart? Explain the chart for me.
Okay. So a chart tells you where the stock price has been over a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So if there's like a daily candlestick, it'll tell you where did the stock open at the beginning of the day, where did the stock close, and then the body of the candle and the wick are just where it went throughout that day.
What's a candle and a wick?
So a candle is, I just explained it. So the body of the candle tells you where the stock price went from open to close of the market. And the wick is if it went maybe above that price a little bit or below that price a little bit, it'll just tell you where did the stock price go throughout that day.
Give me an example.
So it's like...
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
So I'm trying to tie it all together.
Okay.
Give me a real life example.
Example.
An example with numbers.
Yeah. So like say for example, we're talking about Amazon again. And this one's kind of expensive. So some people would be like, no, I don't have that much money, but just this is an example. So Amazon recently is trading around $3,200. So it might have opened the day at $3,200 and then closed the day up $80 at $3,280. So the body of the candle would be from $3,200 to $3,280. Now, throughout that day though, it might have opened and then went, let's say it opened at 32, but it first went down a little bit. But then it came back up and went up to 3,300, and then it came back and closed the day at 3,280. Well, the wick is going to show you that it went down and that it also went above 3,280. But the body will show you from the time it opened to the time it closed where the stock price was.
Got it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And just
It does.
to make it easy, because David says he got it, but he still doesn't. So when you're looking at a chart and you're looking at the candles and the wicks, think of like a bar graph with the bars. You know how in math class you had pie graphs, it's the bar graph. And when people are thinking about a candle, think of a real candle with the wick sticking up. But in charts, the wick can come from the top or from the bottom. Top indicating growth, bottom indicating loss.
Got it.
Do you get that visually now?
I got it.
Okay,
I got it.
Just,
I be slow sometimes. That's why I really got to walk back, and it's okay.
Because he doesn't even realize, he's over there now like, oh my God, epiphany moment, a candle wick on the chart. I get it now.
I do. You know what I'm putting on for my people that's listening, right? Because we're the same. That's why people like our podcast, okay? Because they know I'm slow, and I need to, y'all slow too. Y'all just slow as me.
He just insulted the whole audience, and watch, I'm still going to be in the one. I'm still going to be the one in the comments catching the heat.
You know what I mean? All right, I'll say cool. Okay, cool. So how do you make money when it goes up, and how do you make money when it goes down?
So let's assume, okay. Netflix earnings. So I made $25,000 the day of Netflix earnings. I should have made more, but I just made 25, which was okay.
Just made 25 that day. Oh, okay.
But so let's say Netflix opens at, again, I'm making up numbers right now, so let's say Netflix opened at $300, and then after earnings, it went up $90 per share.
After earnings, after they released the earnings.
Yep, after they said, we did a really great job and we don't need any more cash, we're gonna be able to fund ourselves. The stock price popped up $91. So if you had, first think about stocks. So you had bought something at $300 and then it goes up $91 and you sold at $391. I mean, it's the same as entrepreneurship. You buy a product at a low price, you sell it for higher, you keep the difference. So that's what I did. Only thing is that options is like having, one contract of options is having 100 shares at a time. So instead of just making that $91, I made 91 times 100.
I see.
Per contract.
So you're betting that it goes up.
If you're doing calls.
And you're doing calls. Okay, gotcha. So what you'll go in and say is, okay, I'm guessing that today Netflix is going to go to $400 or 300 and let's say
91.
Yeah, so 390 or 400. I'm betting that it goes to 350, right?
Okay.
If it goes to 350, then I make my money. How do they calculate how much you make?
So it's going to be what you make minus what you paid.
What you make minus, okay, gotcha. Okay, so you'll get to keep that difference.
Yes.
So if you're betting that it goes to 350, but it actually goes to 400, it's the same math. You just, okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So I can say I bet that it goes to 310, and then I'll make whatever is above the 310.
So you're trying to make options into some. So are you thinking options or stocks?
Options.
So the answer is yes, and you also have to think about timing. So there's a little bit more to it, but yes.
Walk me through it.
Okay. Well, first, when we gonna talk about my story, but that's okay.
We're gonna get into it, I promise.
Okay, so in options, you have to think about it like a real contract. You're not selling stocks, you're selling contracts and options. So a contract, think about it like a house. When I have a contract for a house, I have what price I want to pay for it, and then I tell them the expiration, like when the closing date will be. Okay, so there's like a couple different pieces. You say, okay, I want to buy this house for $300,000 by in 1 month we'll close.
Right.
And we have the close date. And then I have to pay like a certain amount for that option is to keep the close out for a month. So usually sometimes, I don't know if y'all do this in Atlanta, but in Texas, we have options where if you want to get out of the contract in 2 weeks, you can pay $200 and get out of it. Y'all don't have that in Atlanta? Okay, well in Texas.
Not that I'm aware
I
of.
wouldn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have this contract to buy the house at a certain price and at a certain date. And now you have a contract. Now think about a wholesaler. A wholesaler might then take that contract and sell it to somebody else and say, hey, I have this contract, but will you pay me a certain amount to take the contract over? That's what you're doing in options. You're not selling really the stocks, you're selling the contract. Now the contract will get more valuable if the underlying asset gets more valuable. So if Netflix gets more valuable, your contract gets more valuable. Just the same way that if that house, all of a sudden they say, okay, we're building a Whole Foods near us, that contract gets more valuable.
Yeah.
That's what you're hoping for. You're going to sell this contract when it's worth more money.
Gotcha.
Now it gets less valuable when the time starts expiring. So when somebody says, I got this wonderful house, but you got to close on it tomorrow, then you don't want to pay as much because you don't have as much time to let that really materialize. So you also have to think about time, and time will make contracts less valuable. So that's kind of how you think about options. I have a contract, and then I just want to sell it when it gets more valuable, and I want to let it go when it gets less valuable.
Gotcha. And you can, so this it's true in the reverse where you're betting that it's going to go down, and that's called a put.
A put. Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. This is dope.
A put would be like, you know how you have a car, as soon as you drive it off the lot, it gets less, like it loses value.
Yeah.
So a put would be, I make an agreement with the salesman that says, hey, you know, I'm going to take this Lamborghini, and how much do Lamborghinis cost?
I wouldn't know.
I
Let's
don't
say
know
200.
either.
Let's say
It's about
300,000.
250 to 300,000.
Okay. So let's say that I'm thinking of Neil right now. I'm like, let's say Neil goes to the lot and he
Gets another.
Right, gets another one.
Right.
He's liable to get another one.
He goes to the lot and he's like, look, I want to test drive this, so let me come back to you in 2 weeks, and can I give this back to you for 300,000? Even though we know that it loses value once it gets off the lot. But he's going to make this contract with the guy that says, I want to make an agreement that I can come back in two weeks and give you this car back for the same value.
Right.
Now, if it goes off the lot and then all of a sudden he gets into a wreck and the car is actually worth like 100,000 now, he's winning, because he can still go back to the guy and say, hey, you said
I can take this car back.
yeah,
Got it.
the car is only worth 100,000, but I can still sell it for 300,000 because I have a contract.
I have a contract.
And so that's kind of how people are making money on puts. They're assuming something's going to lose value, but they still have a contract to sell it for more.
Gotcha. And the other side is if somebody releases that, yo, this is the only car that does this. We didn't know in the factory it's the only car. And then an announcement goes out, that car now is worth 400,000.
Right.
But I can only go back and get 300.
And see, that's when you would, somebody would just keep the contract. They wouldn't go back and execute the contract. It would just be worthless, and they'd say, hey, I'm gonna just keep the car because it's worth more now. I could sell the car on the open market for 400,000. I don't need this contract anymore.
So you have all of these stocks that continue to go up. Okay, gotcha.
And that would be the call side, though. So they would make money on the way up.
Nice. So
Go for it.
we got to get into her story, but before we do, what's the most you've ever lost in a day in the markets?
So I've lost 6 figures in the market. Like, one of my goals now is to
In a
make-
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
like.
Shifting my seat a little bit.
Well, one of my goals is to make $1 million in a day. And you have to have a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So if I want to make $1 million, that's 3 times what I'm willing to risk on the trade. So I have to be willing to.
So hold on, I'm sorry, say it again.
So I trade with a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio, which
Does
means,
everybody trade with that, or that's just you?
yes, everybody that I teach.
Okay.
Some people trade with even higher reward.
Oh,
to
you can
risk
trade.
ratio.
You can pick your reward ratio.
Yeah, this is
Got
a
it.
formula. So once you're looking at the chart, we can actually determine what the reward to risk is on that trade before we get in.
Okay.
And then we can say, okay, if it's only 2-to-1 reward to risk, I'm not going to take the trade.
Okay.
Or if it's 5-to-1, I'm going to take this trade.
Okay.
So for me, the lowest I'll go is the reward has to be 3 times what I risk.
So break that down. Give us some numbers. David's
So-
not keeping up.
So say
I
for,
got it. I got it. I'm ready to like buy something. Like,
You
I'm
want to
ready.
go 5-to-1 right now, but let's give some numbers. So
Okay.
you put in $100,000, or in the case of you wanting to make $1 million, what's your entry investment?
So if I want to make $1 million, then I have to be willing to invest 300,000, so that my return will be 3 times the 300,000, which is 900,000.
Right.
So there have been times where, yes, I lost 300,000, but I knew that the trade was worth it, because had it gone in the correct way, I would have made 900,000. So there have been a couple times where it was like, well,
How do you react to that?
now I don't react at all.
Oh,
It's just is what it is. I
Okay.
did my work up front. I calculated this is the right stock. I looked ahead of time. I calculated the reward to risk ratio. I know that I got in at the right time. Like, that's like a trading plan is really important for this.
yeah.
So if I've done all the steps and for whatever reason it goes against me, then that's okay, because I know another one will come along and it'll go right.
Amazing, amazing. Okay. So this is so phenomenal. Anybody can learn this?
Yeah. It's really not hard, but you need someone who's already good at it and who knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
What I see right now is a lot of people jumping into the market and they don't really know what they're doing. And they just assume that, okay, because I can open my Robinhood account, I'm gonna just jump in, or my friend told me to do this. But no, there's a system to this. Like, we have risk management in place. We have like charts, like it's formulas. Like, when you learn the formula, then it's something that can click easy.
The biggest mistake new investors make when they go in? I think I know it, but I want you to tell me.
I think two things. One, picking the wrong stock.
Okay.
Like, that's just, sometimes we're loyal to stocks for no reason. Those companies aren't loyal to you, so stop. Also, with risk management, not having an exit strategy, not having stops in place. So there's a way to protect yourself from losing. It's called a stop loss.
Yep.
And you can put that in so that if the stock goes down or against you, it'll take you out the trade.
Yeah.
But people don't put it in. They get nervous, like, well, it's going to get me out and I'm going to lose money. That's the point. It's supposed to get you out
So you
to
can
protect
control.
you.
But the reason you don't put the stop loss is because sometimes it'll go down and then shoot back up. But if you don't let it go down far enough, then you really can't capitalize.
Yes, but the problem with that is that just means you did your math wrong on the front end. So if you get better and better at putting the stops at the right place, then you don't have to worry about that. Yep, it's one of those things like, so if every time you go outside, you usually slip and fall, and then you say the next day, well, I don't want to put a mat out there because I might not slip that day. Like, no, like you need to protect yourself.
Listen, a stop loss is important. When I started trading Forex, I had that same thought. Like, when I learned what a stop was to do, and I experienced miscalculating where to put a stop loss, and it hit that stop loss, took me out of the trade. I lost. It minimized my loss, right, to what I was comfortable with. So you get to decide up front how much you're willing to lose. Well, then I started to see other investors not use a stop loss, and they, but they also are dealing with a larger entry amount than I was. They have more money. Right. And so it would go down and shoot back up and they're winning. So I stopped using a stop loss, right? And in the beginning when I was trading, I was scalping the market. Okay. So I was sitting at the computer, meaning I'm going to jump in and I might jump out in 5 minutes or 15 minutes or 30, but I'm watching it because I just want to make $1,000. So as soon as I hit $1,000, I'm out, right? Because you got to set a goal, right? And I think that's the number one. People don't have a goal, and they get the 1,000 and they're like, I'm going for 2, I'm going for 3, and you get greedy. Anyway, so this one day I don't have a stop loss set, and I'm moving and I'm trading. I decide to get up and go take a shower. Came back to the computer. Came back to the computer, and it was a $6,000 shower. I was ready to quit. I'm done with this. I am out of the markets. I am never trading again. And then my mentor at that time, my trading mentor, said, nope, you got to jump right back in there. But now you have to be smart. Now are you ready to learn?
Right.
Yeah.
It's that one time where it goes wrong and you're like,
I was sick.
I should have had.
You're sitting over here talking about losing $300,000 in a day. And I would have been, I don't know what I would have been ready to do.
Where was your stop loss at?
I didn't have one. So there are times where I don't do it right either. And I think that's why I'm such a good teacher, because I've made every mistake. I've had
She said, where was your stop loss?
Right. My risk management plan wasn't there either that day. And it was just kind of like, I know this is going to go right. I know this is going to work. I sure did.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Like, at that time, I had been making 6-figure days. This was actually 2020. So I had just days.
But then you got emotional.
Right?
You started emotional trading.
Exactly. And you can't have emotions. It has to be disciplined and stick to your
and
plan.
Data.
But sometimes we get a little arrogant, like, oh, I got this. I know this stock going to go here. I don't even got to look at the chart today. Yeah. That's when it messes up. You got to stick to the plan.
I love it.
But the important thing is to keep going.
Yes.
Even if you lose.
So, like, my very first huge loss was in Thailand. At that same time when I was doing the class, they had this, like, festival, and we, like, lit lanterns. It was beautiful. But right after that, I came, because the markets open at night in Thailand.
Okay.
So I went to, like, a random seat. I was outside. Everybody else was doing their thing, but I was like, I got to go to work. So I opened my phone up, and I went to work. But I looked and I had lost like $20,000. And by the time it was over, I lost $26,000. And this was back when I was just coming out of education. So I didn't have $26,000 to lose. I remember I had put like $30,000 to pay for classes on my credit card. And like this was like all my savings. And I remember calling my mom bawling. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm quitting right now. Like, I can't do this anymore. And her response was, but baby, if you quit right now, how are you going to get your money back?
Ooh.
Come on, mama.
Yes, mom with the word.
With the wisdom. I did not think she was going to say that. I thought she was going to be like, see, I told you. That's why you didn't need to be over there anyway. But no, she was like, how are you going to get your money back? And so I'm glad your mentor told you the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, stick with it. Because those losses, you learn so much from the losses. And then you know what to do better the next time.
Yeah.
And it hurts. And sometimes it can, like, trading is emotional because it can start to feel like you're a bad person. Like, I can't believe I did this. I know that I shouldn't have done, you know?
Yeah.
But you got to take all that aside and just say, hey, it's a numbers game.
What do you say to the person who doesn't participate in trading or in the stock market, period, because they feel like it's equivalent to gambling?
So it's not a gamble if you know how to calculate your reward to risk ratio and do the risk management ahead of time. So when I take a trade, I know that there is a 75% chance that this is going to be a profitable trade. So when I'm able to calculate like that, it's no longer a gamble.
Okay.
It's a gamble when people are just jumping in with no kind of, like, no education, no kind of formulas, nothing. Then they're just kind of betting and seeing where the wind falls.
Is that what you do with your group? Like you tell them what you're going to be trading, or?
No, I'm not. So they call that like a copy trader. So I don't tell them what to trade. I tell them how to trade. So I actually teach them, okay, this is how you read the chart to know where to get in and where to get out. This is how you put in your reward to risk ratio. This is how you put in like your quantity size. How do you calculate that? Because when I lost in Thailand, I had 8,000 shares. So even if it went down $1, I already was down 8,000. And it went down several dollars. So I was completely out, but it was because my quantity size was wrong.
Gotcha.
So I teach them how to do all those things in my trading plan, because I have like 7 steps that I do every time. And then they're able to follow that plan. Actually, in your book, you had a sentence that said, real success is when you're able to teach someone your strategy and then they can actually be successful from it. And so I think that's what's happening with my students. Like, I teach them my trading plan and then they can tell me what stocks to look at.
Wow. Let me ask you, just as the person, because you seem like this indestructible woman, you got it figured out. What are some of your major fears? What are you afraid of?
Fears. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, like, I think it was Paul who said it. He said, I would hate to go to heaven and then be ineffective and inefficient. And I have to find the scripture for you, but I think that's one of my biggest fears. God gave me such a gift. And if I go to heaven and he's like, Teri, I gave you this gift, but you were ineffective with it, or you were inefficient with it. Like, I want to make sure when I get to heaven, he does say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Like, you did that. I gave you a few things and you made it many. Like, that's my goal. But the fear would be on the flip side, to not maximize it to the fullest.
Yeah, I love it. And I think what shapes us all, who we are today, has a lot to do with, like you said, like your story. What are like some impactful lessons that you learned that created this amazing woman that you are today, would you say?
I think one lesson is from my grandmother. So when I was working at the school, she used to tell me every day, and I'm not even a cusser, but I'm gonna say this because Miss My Granny said it.
Leave it out.
So
It's okay.
she was like,
You don't have to use it.
You better tell them. No, what did she say? You better go in there and tell them to kiss your bleep. And she was like, don't ever let anybody let you feel like you're less than what you are. And I think just my grandmother, like, I was raised by a single mom and my grandmother, so 3 generations in the household. And my mom was always the, like, cautious, more fearful one, like, you can't quit your job, you gotta have insurance. And my grandmother.
Based on what she told you, like before, that's why it shocked you. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I think that was a God thing. I think the Lord told her to tell me that because she would not normally be the one. She would have been the one like, well, come home right now.
Right.
Well, you know, you can get another job. You haven't been gone too long. Maybe they'll let you come back. Like that's usually like her MO. But in that moment, that wasn't it.
she don't even talk
So
like that.
she was just like, you got, how you gonna get it back? That was a God thing. But my grandmother, maybe she was embodying my granny. Because my granny is like, you God's child. You can do anything.
Yeah.
Girl, you better go.
Yeah.
Tell them kiss your, like, just walk out. She's like, walk out today. So I think that's a piece of me now that's like, you know what? Like, at the end of the day, God's got this. This is his plan. You are his child. So there's nothing to be afraid of. Even if I get on a plane, like I usually get afraid, like, that the plane's gonna crash. And she's like, and if I were to embody her, it'd be like, girl, this plane ain't gonna crash. God got a bigger plan for you. He got stuff for you to do next year, so you gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So I think that's where like, I think I have like a humble confidence, but that's where it comes from.
It's so important to speak life into yourself and speak life into your children.
Yeah.
Because we think they're not listening, but like you said, like this was, years ago. You just remember your grandma growing up being this voice, and we always have to have these voices in our head. You know what I mean? Like, so I had a conversation with Donni, and we both came to the realization that I'm not a businessman. But the cool thing is, because I just want to do cool stuff. I just want to do cool stuff and have somebody that really knows like business like that.
He's
do
a
the business
visionary.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a visionary.
But the conversation that we had, it really stuck with me, allowing me to at least understand where I am and say, yo, I need to get smart. I need to just step by step, piece by piece, what am I going to do? So I think that's important, having that circle of people and voices in your head.
But you have a vision mindset. I mean, a business mindset. It seems like you're always thinking through like the numbers and like how to make money off of something.
I do.
So.
But the execution of it,
Okay.
really, and this like, honestly, I think God has blessed me tremendously because I just walk.
Yeah.
And like the things align and things work out. I don't necessarily know it all. I dated this one girl. She was just appalled at how many words I didn't know. Like she'll say some stuff. I'm like, what's that? Say it again.
Say it one more time.
What's that mean?
Right. No, Shands is a visionary. So he sees, you have three types of business people. You have a visionary, you have an integrator, and then you have a very small percentage of people who are both. Right? So your CEOs are typically a visionary. They're typically the person who sees the vision and they can tell you, what they want it to be, and they can show you the big picture. They can even show you some of the small picture on a large scale. They're high level, super high level. Your integrator is someone who can take that vision and create the plan. Put the details in place, put the systems in place, put the processes in place and the procedures in place, and they can both execute and delegate to others how to execute, right? And then you have some people who are both. I'm both. I'm one of the very small percentages of individuals who are both. So in my business, I am the visionary and the integrator, but for my clients, I am typically their integrator. Right. And so Shands and I and Jamie were having that conversation. Jamie was like, Donni needs to be your integrator because, this, that, and the other. Shands, when you have a person who is solely a visionary, they become overwhelmed with the integrator's role. So Shands becomes like overwhelmed in the execution of it all. He can tell you what to do. He can tell you what it should look like. All this should be here and, this, that, and the other. And this is how it's going to go. And this is where I want to be in 3 years and 5 years and 10 years. I see it, but that's your sound.
Yeah,
that's your sound. How are we going to get there? Right. And you have been incredibly blessed. God blesses through people and he continues to put people in your path that can take you from step A to step B. And then sometimes you have people who take you from B to N.
For sure,
and then you keep going from there.
Which I think it's going to be Teri. Well, we had this
absolutely.
Let's go.
I need you taking me A to N.
You know what, though?
I need to be in double Z after dealing with you.
Right.
There's one guy, he came to me a little bit before Black Friday, and we were both speakers at a conference. We were speakers at FinCon. So have y'all ever heard of FinCon?
No.
It's like where finance meets social media. And so we were speakers kind of to that audience. And he came and he was like, Teri, I need you to give me all the game. So I gave him all the game. And after that, he came back and he was like, Teri, I implemented what you told me, and I made everything that I thought I would make for the next year. I made in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he new to options? Was he doing in options?
No, this was business.
This is business.
This was business. I mean, because I also am the #1 creator.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
There's so much to talk about.
Where are we? Because we want to. Are y'all good with this? Y'all got to be good with this. Y'all got to be good with this.
Go to time away.
So you are the #1 course creator on the Teachable platform. How do you get people to your course? First of all, like, are you running ads? Are they coming through conferences, word of mouth?
Mainly word of mouth. For a long time, they blocked me on ads because they thought I was like MLM or something. Yeah. So Facebook wouldn't let me run ads. I just started being able to run ads like a month ago.
Did you have to create a new profile?
I didn't. Like, praise God, I do have some friends who I guess they talked to Facebook or something, and finally Facebook said okay. But this is after like 3 years of me doing my.
You know Mark?
I do know Mark. Monroe, you mean?
Zuckerberg. First off, you got your name in the little click up joint on the joint, so I'm thinking, you know Mark, that's your guy. Okay.
She's like, I do. We're both over here like, whoa.
No, not Mark Zuckerberg. Right. I wish I knew him. He was at Harvard at the same time I was at MIT though. So wish I did, but
right. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so mainly you did more than $10 million in courses, mostly through word of mouth. Yes. Who do you have talking?
All the students. Wow. So when they start hitting $1,000 in a day, or even if they start hitting $100 in a day, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, Teri, you've opened up my life to something I didn't think was possible." Like one lady, she's made enough in trading to pay all her bills, so now she just pockets her whole work check. Another one, like several of them, they got sick during COVID and couldn't work, but they were still trading and made good money. Another one, she's like, yeah, me and my husband, our account is up 80,000 and we're gonna start sponsoring kids for scholarships. So like they talk. And then everybody around them is like, let's take the class. And then so it's been a big word of mouth thing, but then also partnerships are really important. So for me, I like working with other businesses. And so we do something like this. We have a conversation, do a podcast, and then they become affiliates. So a lot of the teachers that you all know, like I teach the teachers. And then they go out and they're like, nah, y'all need to take Teri's course.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. We need to be your next success stories.
Yeah. Come on.
That would be so amazing. If by the time this comes airs out, like we start making, I was gonna make like it's gonna be a free commercial. So I charge for commercials, but it's just I'm gonna do a commercial and we're gonna do a testimonial.
Let's do it. But what I want to do, I want to represent what the small scale investor will do, right? Yeah. I don't want to come in and put $20,000 in and it's just this big grand story.
That's me. I'm the guy. I'm like, I'm ready to go.
Well, okay, do you want to do that?
Yes.
Which
well, maybe not 20, maybe 10. Because I don't know what I'm doing yet.
So what I usually tell people is your goal should be 1% of your cash amount. So if we do 10,000, then your goal will be to make like $100 a day, which is still good because that's $500 a week, 2,000 extra a month. That's 20% return on your cash. So I think if you start there, that'd be good.
Start with 1,000, and the goal is to grow it $100 a day.
10,000, and the goal is to grow it $100 a day.
Oh, 10,000. So you put 10,000 in, you'll make $100 a day, which is what, 30,000 in a month? 3,000.
3,000.
3,000 in a month. Yeah.
2,000, right?
$30 a day.
$100 a day.
Oh, $100 a day.
Yeah. So that. But it's not all day. It's not every day. Not like 7 days a week.
No, the market's closed on the weekend.
So it's 5 days.
Yeah, so it's 5 days.
So it's a little more. It's a little more than $2,000.
Okay.
In the month. So
that's good.
Then our 10,000 is still there. Yes. But we've just added $2,000 to it.
And then the way we trade, like I would want y'all to like go do something with that 2,000.
What are we doing with it?
I don't know. Do you have a goal? Something you've been wanting to buy lately? Pay off debt?
Why is that? Okay. Why is that the goal?
Because I want you guys to learn how to invest actively for income. And when you're investing for income, you're actually taking that money and using it for something.
Living in your life. Yeah.
You're paying your bills.
We're traveling.
That's paying for your freedom.
We're trading and traveling. We are going on the road with the Social Proof podcast to a
Absolutely.
city near you,
100%.
by the way.
There you
100%.
go. Or pay for the Miami trip.
Well, we only got like 12 days.
Can we do that by tomorrow?
Yeah. Well,
Let's run it.
Oh, yeah. Listen, click the link below. Get this course, okay?
Let's run it.
Okay.
I'm going back to my account. Hopefully. Where do we?
how long is it
We
to
can't
fund
do
it?
it through TradeStation.
Yeah,
We got to do it.
You gotta call Corey. So we might have to do it in your own account.
I got TD Ameritrade. I got
Yeah.
TD and I got Robinhood.
I got Robinhood.
So TD, I know we could probably do my strategy. Robinhood,
Don't
you can
do me.
start. You can
You'll be a little
start,
behind, sis.
but
You're gonna be a little
it won't be as awesome.
So why don't I just give you money to put it in your?
with it.
Yeah, and then you just give me my bread. Listen, and I
who
have been
pays taxes
supposing
on
to.
that, though?
Well, so I have a TD Ameritrade. I've just not funded it. Does it take longer
to fund,
to fund?
I don't know on TD Ameritrade side. So we have to see.
Because I just don't do stocks.
They should make something available.
But I'm
now.
about to start doing stocks.
Yeah, no,
and the
we-
only reason I have Robinhood is because my daughter had it in my name, and I can just confiscate it if
It's
you know
not
what I mean.
a bad thing, but I do know they're coming under scrutiny now, especially with the whole like GameStop.
GameStop
and
thing.
TDs?
Oh, that was
No,
Robinhood.
Oh, Robin, okay, got you.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so back to becoming the number one. So, and I think it's so key too, because a lot of people focus on my ad strategy and things of that nature versus making sure this works.
Yes, if you have results, then that will speak volumes for you. Like my students can actually come out and say, yes, I learned something from Teri. Even if I didn't make a ton, I know how to protect myself. So like when the market dropped, a lot of my students were thanking me because like for COVID, they were like, Teri, I didn't lose as much as I could have. Like when the market fell, I had stops in place that protected me. So I was able to use that money to try to invest again. So part of it is just learning the discipline, or even if you are a longer term trader, being able to look at a chart to figure out the right time to get into the stock or out of the stock. Like that's huge. Like we all may love, I'm not gonna say Tesla because Tesla too much, but we all may love Facebook stock, and you get in because you just like Facebook, but I'm looking at a chart, I'm gonna get a better price. And so like just knowing those things are gonna help you.
Gotcha. Oh my gosh.
So every investor strategist that I know says to start with investing in things. Look around your household. People always want to know, well, how do I know what to invest in? And then I hear people say, well, just look around your house. What do you buy all the time? What do you use a lot of? Is that a part of your strategy?
I ran into a guy who said he don't research the company. He looks at the charts.
Well, yeah. So he's
Justice.
data driven.
Yeah.
He's data driven. So
Charts
would you give that same advice? Like look around. What are you using all the time? Where are you eating all the time? Or are you strictly data driven? You don't care about whether you like the product, don't like the product. The numbers are what drives your decision.
I'm a technical analysis trader, which means that I go by the numbers. So for me, I'm looking at CNBC and I'm listening to what companies are they talking about. Instead of, I don't care what I do. Yeah, I like Target, but they're talking about Walmart, or they're talking about Amazon, or they're talking about Adobe and Salesforce because they're powering the internet. So I'm looking at CNBC and looking at the ticker symbols that come at the bottom of that.
Are you on at 9 o'clock every morning?
I am.
Every morning.
Yep. Well, lately I've been more chill.
Okay.
So there's different ways. I think there's seasons. In the first part of my life, I was every day I'm up at, for me it was 7:30, and then the market opened at 8:30. So I was doing pre-market stuff, trading the first couple hours, and then I would go take a break and then come back at the end of the day. Now, because my accounts are a bit bigger and because just seasons are different, like I can kind of relax. I can do a little bit more swing trading, but still make the same amount of money.
What's swing and what's, I'm sorry.
No. I wanted you to explain swing trading.
Day trading is getting into the stock in the beginning of the day and out at the same day, and that's the same stock. Swing trading is I get into the stock and then I might get out tomorrow or wait a week or two. So that's swing trading, just holding it a little longer.
Gotcha.
When you started, you were day trading. And now that you have a larger bag, you can swing trade because you can afford to take that up and down kind of ebb and flow of the market for a longer period of time. What's your favorite, swing or day?
So I like the thrill of day.
Yeah.
So I like the thrill of I made $100,000 today.
Great.
I
would like. Would you enjoy that thrill?
Sounds like a thrill.
It sounds. But you have to now. When you're doing something like that, are you literally in the markets all day? You got your trade in the morning. Do you set it and forget it, or do you stalk it? Because I stalk mine.
Well, on Sunday, I look at the charts and then I plot everything, and then I have alerts that come up when the stock price is coming to my entry. So I'm usually I'll look at CNBC, I'll look at the computer or my cell phone in the beginning of the day, but then I don't have to watch it all day because I already set everything up.
I need you to produce a day in the life of.
I have one on YouTube on my Trade and Travel channel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Day in the life.
Way ahead of you.
It was way
ahead of
She's
me.
all over it.
But is this a day in the life of your trading activity? Following that specifically.
There's one that says how I made $35,000 in a day, and it's a day in the life.
Okay. Okay.
I probably need to do a new one.
Yeah.
But
because people want to see this. It sounds good, and we gave a couple of action steps, but it's always for me that now what. It's that now what, and I think people would really, really plug into something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I have to partner with you guys on that too.
Let's get it.
Yes, I'll do anything with you. Okay, you tell me what you want to do, we doing it
And
all
it's
together
done.
for sure.
It's done.
I love it.
There was a part that you there was something you were telling me I thought was going to be really impactful before the interview started that you wanted to mention, not to big up the book Dreams Are Built Overnight, but there was
That
a
you
part
can get
in
on
there
Amazon.
that you said you wanted to share.
I do. So in your book, you talked about, and maybe I don't know if you want to tell the story. Do they know the story of where you had an event and your mom had come, and then you went in and moved her car?
Yeah.
And it wasn't moving, but then you got really embarrassed.
Yeah.
And then you said your why is because your mom is still driving the car.
For sure. And I give some back. I was doing an event in Atlanta, and my mom showed up.
When is this?
This had to be 2000, maybe 15, maybe 14, somewhere around there. And long story short, I was doing an event and she pulled up to this car and she wanted me to move her car because I think it was something it was a place that she parked or another parking spot was being available and I was going to move her car. And her car had some issues. And I remember the feeling of jumping in the car and somebody walked by. I was like, hey, what's up? You're going into the event. So I'm in this raggedy car and I felt like people were judging me. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Because I'm in a raggedy car, but I'm about to teach y'all entrepreneurship.
Right.
And in my head, they're like, yo, I don't want to learn from this guy. But I really thought to myself wow, my mom drives this car every day though. So I don't know what type of feeling she has. And I actually just told my wife I want to buy her another car. But yeah, I just had this moment of disgust. One, I wouldn't drive this car, but why should my mom too? You know what I mean? My mom shouldn't drive this car
either. I feel
either.
okay with her driving it, but I don't want to. Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, the thing that got me is in that section you said, well, now the reason why I push myself is because I don't want to have my mom drive that car. And recently, my stepdad went to the doctor's office and he needed to get an MRI, but for whatever reason, they wouldn't take his insurance. And they said, well, you have to pay up front or we're going to have to make you go, you have to leave. And he didn't have enough money in his account to pay for it. So he had to leave the doctor's office. And me as the child, I was like, how could I be a multimillionaire and my dad can't go to the hospital? He can't pay for the work. And so I thought never again will I have a parent that can't get a procedure. So I gave my mom, I put $40,000 in an account. I was like, you guys go and y'all get every doctor procedure y'all need taken care of. And recently my mom called me and she was ecstatic. She was just like, oh my God. And I was like, what happened? And she had gone to the dentist. And she was like, baby, they told me I needed to get 4 of my teeth worked on. And they said that it was going to cost $2,000 per tooth. And I said, okay. And she was like, and that white lady, race was a part of this.
Come on,
she was
talk
like,
about it.
She's like, that white lady looked at me and was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, that's not a problem. And then she said, well, the anesthesia is going to cost like an additional $500. Do you want to be asleep or do you want to be awake? And my mom's like, oh no, I'll go to sleep. And she's like, but did you hear me? It's going to cost another $500.
What?
And my mom's like, that's okay, I got it. And
they don't reiterate with them other clients. I'm like, are you sure? What you mean?
Are you positive?
And they were like, well, maybe we can just do half your mouth. Because they thought she wasn't hearing them right, like on how much it was going to cost. And they were like, well, maybe we'll just do half of your mouth. And you can come back another time and do half. And she's like, no, I can do it. And so then she calls me and she's like, baby, I know money can't buy you happiness, but money can buy you dignity.
Ooh, that's a tweetable. Let me get that. Write that down right now.
Money can buy you dignity. She said, I was able to hold my head up during that consultation, and I was able to tell those doctors that I can afford this instead of having to like figure it out and look at my account. And so that's my why. I want to be able to help people have dignity when they go into any situation, but especially their health care. Like how many people have had to walk out of a doctor's office and not gotten the care that they need because they couldn't afford it.
Or just not even go in the first place.
And then I think about like COVID and how more Black people are getting affected.
And that is why
money's an issue.
Our community takes a harder hit when things like COVID and all of these other surprise viruses and things like that come up. We are affected the most because we can't even, not only can we not afford the treatment when we get the bill for it, right? Mm-hmm. We are so conditioned to believe that we can't afford the treatment, just the general doctor's office visit, that we don't even go. Right. So they just stay home and die.
And that's not on my watch.
Yeah.
That's my why.
That's strong.
You got to find a way to be able to make your money work for you so you can go to the doctor when you need to. Yeah. So you can have dignity when somebody tells you a price and you don't have to look down or walk out. Like my dad was so embarrassed. And this white guy came behind him and had his checkbook out like he was going to pay for the procedure. And they were like, no, that's okay. Your insurance will cover it. What you talking about? You just told him he got to pay up front. So like there's just so many systematic things that I think like we could solve if we were able to have more money in our communities. Mm-hmm. So that's my why.
What's next for you, Teri? Where does the brand grow? You're already an 8-figure woman. Mm-hmm. You are the #1 course creator on Teachable's platform. You are popping very, very, very subtly. What's next for you?
So of course I want to help more students. Mm-hmm. Like I want to help more students to have.
Find a man that ain't playing. Okay, listen, we gonna get to the nuts and bolts of it, man.
She's over here with all of this political stuff. We told you before the interview this was gonna happen.
Do you think the super success is a hindrance to that area of your life?
Honestly, I think that part of my success would not have happened if I was in a relationship. So like when I quit my job to travel around the world, if I had a boo, that would have been really tough to do.
I agree.
And even now, like I will get up and go on a whim. Mm-hmm. So I think now I'm at a place where the man will fit my lifestyle. So.
What kind of guy you like?
Mm-hmm.
Donni likes she likes drug dealers. Okay.
He is a liar.
She said if you guys follow the podcast, y'all know she like.
First of all, that podcast never aired. And that was not me who said I like drug dealers. That was our guest who said they like drug dealers. What I said was I like a cultured man. I like a cultured man. So I like men who are businessmen, but they've been through some things, right? I like men that I feel safe around because maybe they've been in a fight or two when they were younger or had to defend.
She's been icing on this, okay.
Or had to defend themselves. Like I want to feel safe. I like looking at a man and being like, that's a man. That's a whole
lot of man.
That's a whole lot of man over there. That's a man.
So
but I do not date people who are active drug dealers. Okay? Emphasis on active. I don't date people who are active drug dealers and things of that nature because I'm a parent and that matters to me. I like people who can travel.
Because if she wasn't a parent.
than it would be. But no, I'm just playing.
So what do you like?
What do you like? What do you like? I like businessmen. Just for the record, I like guys who wear suits. I like guys who wear shoes with hard bottoms and things like that.
I think so. I can go more by what I want to experience in a relationship.
Okay.
I like that.
I figured out that that's a better rubric. So I want to experience being able to talk to him and have a thought partner. So he needs to have the wisdom of like businesses. I can see someone who's probably like bought and sold a couple businesses. I need somebody who has like discipline, because I'm like the spontaneous, let's go today. Oh, we going to Mexico? Let's go. We going to Australia? I got my flight. Let's go. So I need him to have a little bit more like discipline. However, I need him to have a yacht mindset. And a yacht mindset is like, oh, we going to the yacht today, let's go. And not thinking about like the cost, not thinking about like his time or the meetings he got going on. Oh, we're going to the yacht and we're gonna be able to relax. I don't have to think about work. At this point, he probably is there's so many different people. I was gonna say he's probably a CEO or has been a CEO or has just been like, even athletes. I think there's a lot of really great businessmen that are athletes, but just that mindset of like, I've put in my time, I'm ready to let go, and I can unwind when I need to.
So you've skipped all the way to the 1% right away.
Right away. You have to have bought and sold some businesses. You got to be running Nabisco.
Right. So you went into someone who's heavily familiar with acquisitions and takeovers. So
once they give a good experience, they're saying, "Yo, let's go to the yacht, but you got to pay for it." Okay, just look, I'm with this yacht mindset. I got the yacht mindset. I don't got the yacht money, but if I got the mindset, you got the money. We good. Are you interested in that?
So to be completely honest, I could be
the manager at Target,
But see, a lot of times they don't have the right mindset. So maybe I also need that business part. Like I need to respect them enough to value their opinion in business stuff. So when I'm talking about multiple millions, I need them not to shrink. Like I need them to be okay and comfortable with it. And I mean, like if the manager at Target, nope. I don't think that'll work.
Well, David was once a server at Cheesecake Factory.
I agree, but now you own a business, so you have a different mindset. So I think
for sure,
it's the mindset, not so much the money.
You're not really into potential. The potential, like I had potential at the Cheesecake Factory, but I had to grow into myself. And
I like
if you ask some of the
potential,
if you ask some people that dated me in those years, they'd be like, nope. That wouldn't have been what you're looking for.
I think this is the difference. At the time that you understood you had to quit from Cheesecake Factory, your mind changed.
Yes.
Like you had a mind of there is freedom, there is something beyond being tethered to somebody else, like a work or a job. I can do this and I will make it work. There was that discipline in there and that like hustle, that grit, that persistence. Like those characteristics I'm looking for. It doesn't necessarily, I don't care their level, but those characteristics I think are important.
Got you.
What kind of friends do you have? Like, how do you maneuver through your friendships? And I'm just talking about girlfriends, guy friends, like, because you're like, listen, she didn't say if I want to get up and book a flight to Miami. She said if I want to get up and book a flight to Australia, right? It feels like, it sounds like, because I want to get up and book a flight to Miami or wherever I go, and I do, but I'm often alone. So I'm feeling like with your mindset and your level of success, which is 10 times greater than my level of financial success, it feels like it could be lonely.
It could be, but now there's a lot of us that are in this space.
So are you making new friends, or?
I have a cohort of friends that have been knowing me since elementary school, and my family works for me too. So my cousins keep me very, very humble. Like, we know what your hair look like when you take your wig off.
Got you. It's important.
So like, I have family and friends that have known me for a while. And they call me a different name than Teri. Like, it's just a whole.
What's the name?
What's the name?
I know I shouldn't even said it. Like,
What's the name?
No,
You gotta
'cause-
no. Let me go look through the comments.
Or
What's the name?
or do you? Is that like a sacred thing amongst your friends?
It's a sacred thing amongst my friends because I know who's been knowing me a long time when they say that name.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah,
Like,
you
if
don't
they
have to
knew me
reveal
in
it.
college
Because
or
now your
whatever.
students will be calling you whatever your name is, and you're like, all right, don't call me that. Okay,
Right,
awesome.
right. So it's a different name.
It's not gonna be
It's
in
the
the comments,
nickname. Nah. Donnie, like I'm behind
Just
it.
whisper it.
Right. Well, after the show.
Yeah, because they gonna pick it
No,
up.
because she don't want everybody calling her that. Respect her
Tootie?
private name.
Tootie.
Tootie, you look like a Tootie? She like a Tootie?
It does start with a T though.
T-Money.
See, I had a friend that used to call me that, and I had a friend call me Tea Cake
I'm
back in
calling
the
you
day.
T-Money
He was
all
like,
day.
"You sweet. I'm gonna call you
I like the
Tea Cake."
Tootie a little bit.
I like Tootie.
Yeah, you do.
Facts of life, Tootie.
No.
With
Just
the
know,
cheeks.
you're going to know somebody like, hey, Tootie. That's from the podcast.
That's
so we
from
got
the
our special
podcast.
thing.
We got our
a
thing.
special thing.
Hey, Tootie.
Take another one. T-Money.
So I call everybody something money.
Okay.
If I call you T-Money because you got it, you earned it for
Well,
sure.
that'll work.
She's never
That'll
called
work.
me D-Money. That's crazy. Anywho, okay. So you have another cohort of friends.
Yep. And then I have the friends that are like businesses. Like, we've been growing together. So like in Miami, I'm gonna be with Charm City Buyers and Abu, and like all of us have had this like $1 million come up, it seems, and then we're all like still pushing each other to be better.
Good.
So I definitely love friends like that. I love content creator world. Like, those people they get me now because I'm a content creator.
You mean us?
Yes.
We're friends.
We're friends now.
So that world, like, I can talk about a funnel and talk about
Yeah.
a email list, and y'all get it, right?
Well,
I get it. I get it. I
Terry.
do get it.
We can
Maybe.
discuss that.
Okay.
Shands will sit
I
and
told you,
listen.
Terry, I just be walking. I just be.
If like somebody put together an email for me and it worked.
It absolutely is what happened.
100%. Okay.
Wow.
Yo,
I feel like our guests lately, our lineup, it's like the podcast should never end.
Yeah,
You're
it
going to
should
have to
never
come
end.
back just to
Yeah,
know.
like we're like literally almost
Definitely.
2 hours in, and
Oh wow.
this has been phenomenal, very enlightening. I've learned so much, and I think this is what a lot of people need, because some people don't have the skill set of being able to speak or communicate or put content together. But this is a skill where I can sit in my room,
Yeah.
learn it.
It's
and
just
get to the
you and
bag.
your computer.
Yes. And your cell phone when you go.
This is perfect. Like, there's so many people who ask, and I know you get it all the time, what can I do as an introvert? Like,
Introvert
I want to
income.
do something, I want to make money, but I'm introverted. And right now, in the day and age of digital business, it seems like I have to be front facing no matter what I pick. This trading, stocks and options, it's just you and your computer.
Yeah.
Can we give a little promo code? Is there a way that people can get the course and have, I don't know what it is going to be, 10% or something like that, but do you have it set up like that?
So if they do, here, let's see.
Social proof.
Yeah, social proof promo code.
Okay. If they do social proof, I'll give them 10% off of VIP. How about that?
Got
so
it.
VIP is usually $5,000. That'll give them $500 off.
Okay.
I'll do that for social proof.
And what's the intro course? Do you have an introductory course?
Well, the overall course is VIP. If they start with the first half, we call that trade and travel. But honestly, if they really want to get to the bag the way they want to and do options, that's the VIP course.
Gotcha.
Terry, you've built this mega empire, and we're gonna get the closing, but I want people to understand that you're not just a trader. We have our next thing is in an hour, by the way, if you're looking for that.
Okay.
You're not just a person who's trading and investing. You're actually running a business, right? So outside of all of that, I want to know more about the business. How many employees do you have?
I have 6 employees and then about 4 agencies that work for me.
Okay, explain that.
So I have like an assistant, director of operations, someone who's over sales, and like all of those I've hired my family. Then I have like a director of student success and a director of partnerships. So those are staff. Then now I have an agency that's doing like the Facebook ads, and then an agency that's doing customer service, and an agency that's doing podcast interviews. So I think that's actually one thing I've loved is finding agencies that are super good at what they do and they can do one thing really well and then hiring them for that. So that's kind of how like the business part is set up. And then in terms of, I'm gonna give y'all some quick free game in terms of just how to like run a course. You guys know this, but for the audience, some of the things that are super important to me is like, I know my numbers really well. So if I want to have 800 new students come in a month, then I know, okay, that means I got to get in front of 300,000. I got to get emails of 30,000, and then I got to get those 30,000 to then become students, and that'll get me to the 800. So if people start getting good about those numbers, they can then brainstorm, well, okay, what is going to get me in front of 300,000? And then what am I going to give them to get their email? And if you can start being strategic about those things, then, and you guys, like I said, you all know this.
No, this is good stuff.
She don't.
This is good stuff because entrepreneurs are always afraid, or not always, but a lot of brand new people into business can be afraid of I hear all the time, well, I got to keep my job because entrepreneurship money or my own money is so up and down. It could be this. And I'm like, but if you know your numbers, if you study the data, you can actually predict your income as an entrepreneur. Like, as soon as tomorrow hits, the first day of every single month, at minimum what you're going to earn for the month, right? And you're not going to go by, what is it based off of? Previous results, previous numbers. But if you actually dive into those numbers deeper, just like you were saying, exactly how many people you need to talk to. So how many times, I know how many times I need to go on Clubhouse. So I'm not on Clubhouse every day because I know if I hit Clubhouse twice a month, done.
It'll be okay.
Done, right? I know I need Clubhouse twice a month. I know that I need to send out, 4 emails a week. I know that I need to send out X amount of text messages. I just know what my exposure will convert into in terms of sales, dollars, revenues. And that's really, really important metrics to study. Did you learn that based on your MIT education, or did you learn that based on experience?
Experience. That was all just hit and miss. Like, when I first got my first 30 students, I was like, oh my God, I did a launch and this is the way I did my launch. And I did, this was the theme and did all this setup. And so then I know, okay, the next time I do it, I'm gonna do this plus. So everything was like okay, did this, how do I make it even better? So everything was experience.
Talk to us about that. Well, wait, talk to us about what your first launch looked like. There's someone who is about to launch a course for the very first time. What did you do?
My first launch was on Instagram. So I usually do like a 3-part series. I'll do, the first part is education. So all the posts you'll see are gonna be educating you on something. And then the second part is agitation. So I'll get you kind of agitated about what I just talked about. So for example, the theme that I have in January or right now was, the professional development from trading will make you a better person. Okay. So that was kind of the theme. So the whole first part was, how do you get professional development from trading? That was the education. But then the agitation piece was all the times that you didn't have those things that you wanted. Like, I didn't have patience, and it ended up making me like hit my kid when I shouldn't have, or that time where I didn't have discipline and I ended up eating everything when I said I was gonna lose 20 pounds for my New Year's resolution. Just like, then you agitate it, and then you come in at the end with, well, the solution is you need to learn how to trade so you can get better at these skill sets so that you can have a better life. So that would be like a funnel I would take them through. And then I would add in, if I do a webinar, if I do a podcast, depending on when it's happening, that's going to be like what I'm talking about. Am I in the education phase? Am I in the agitation or the solution? And like, that would be the funnel. So by the end of it, they don't know that I just took them through this funnel, but they want to buy the class.
Wow. That's awesome. How much was your class when you first launched it?
Actually, it was $2,000.
$2,000.
In the very beginning, I did like a 50% off sale because I was like, oh, they'll pay $1,000. Actually, I didn't think they would pay $1,000, but they did. And so now it just recently, the middle tier is $2,500. So it just recently went up $500, but it stayed about that. And $5,000, I've always, if somebody wanted to work more personal or one-on-one with me, it was always $5,000 because I knew my value.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Amazing. Well, look, we've been here for some time. I want to say thank you. We got to do a quick commercial, but I need you to think of something deep and strong to talk about. Okay, you got to close this out. You got a big responsibility. You got to put a whole bow on this whole interview. You ready? Okay, I'm gonna give you some time to think about it though.
Okay.
All right, cool. So we're gonna do our quick commercial, then we're gonna come right back. All right?
Wait, I need to say one thing
Let's
before the
do it.
commercial. Okay, on the guy thing, I forgot that he also needs to be able to pray with me.
Okay.
Yeah, we forgot that in the experiences.
Okay.
We need to be able to, something happen, we can grab hands and pray. All right.
Yo,
That's it.
Terry came back to that. That means
Oh, for
she's
sure.
in these streets.
I know, look,
She's
it's
active.
that time in your life right now.
Searching.
What is a great way to approach you via social media?
Don't. Because I have teams that run my social media. So I guess what they would have to do is say, hey, I'm really interested in talking to Terry, and be transparent. Like, I would like to take her out on a date. Can you all ask her if she'd be open to go on a date with me? Because my team will see that, and then they'll take it to me. So if somebody were to just put in there, hey, shawty, I won't see that.
Hold on. So is it us that's talking? Were we talking about Miami?
Keep it there.
Yes, we were.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, hold
But in the
on.
beginning, you were talking to my assistant.
I remember talking to her, but I think immediately after Clubhouse, was I talking to you or your assistant?
I don't know.
Okay.
But the Miami
I can
part was
tell when
me.
I'm talking to your assistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're probably talking to me.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
You got sent to the assistant.
First of all, listen, I don't mind Terry sitting here right now today.
Right.
And we're friends now. In fact,
That's
before
right.
the podcast, we talked about going back to Miami, just us. So
Yeah.
I'm coming though.
absolutely.
Okay.
You go where I go.
So
I go where
what's-
you go.
So okay, in person, what's a good way to
In person,
shoot that shot?
come and have a conversation.
But
If
are you
I
ever out in public? Like,
I am.
it's going to be hard to find me in public.
But you know what? Okay, so now maybe, but before, people don't know who I am. So I'll sit in the room, and yeah, I may have more money than everybody in the room, but they're not gonna know.
No, but what I mean is when I'm out in public, I'm super intentional. I'm going there for that or there to meet with that group of people. And like meeting men is usually the last thing on my mind. So are you in a place where you're approachable when you're in public?
Is it the last thing on your mind?
You know it is.
Yeah, it is.
You're always throwing me in these situations and I'm like, yo,
trying to
Shane,
throw
come
her in
on, like what's up? I'm here to kind of learn. I want to learn. I want to flirt.
True. Like I'm thinking about like your Miami experience. I'm like, No, I'm just playing. But if someone were to come and approach me in public, like I said, if they just have a conversation, and like the best thing is they need to get my cell phone number so they can talk to me directly.
Got you.
Mm-hmm. If
Some
they
people don't ask for it, right? They just more, what's your social media? You're like, all right, here.
Yeah, they just look me up online. But nah, if they get my phone number, then they can talk to me directly.
Okay. All right, guys, listen. You got the formula. She's telling you how to shoot this shot. Okay. So, all right. So think of something deep. We about to do a commercial.
She
all right?
taught us how to shoot the shot. She taught us how to set up a brokerage account.
Oh
You
my
gave us some
gosh,
steps on
so
trading.
much. How to build a
and how to
course.
build a course. I mean, we're going to get you back.
Yeah. I feel like I owe you money.
I feel like we need to go to Dallas in her environment. Do you have like an office?
I have a big house.
Okay. So I think we need to go in Terry's comfort zone. Could you imagine how important or how deep this interview would get in her environment?
After we make some money,
Yeah.
we are going to come to your house.
Yeah. And we're going to
do
stay
a
there.
part two. We're going to stay there. For some reason, I envision chef, like, because I don't feel
Yeah,
like
we're going
he's
to
cooking.
stay there
Yes.
and we're going to
Chef.
fine dine.
Yes. So listen, you just know when you see this interview, this part two, when we're at her home, me and Donni are up.
We get into the bag.
We're up. Okay. All right, cool. Interview.
Commercial.
Commercial time. Okay. This episode is sponsored, as always, by The Morning Meetup, themorningmeetup.com, themorningmeetup.com. Go to themorningmeetup.com and you'll see it is the most amazing organization of entrepreneurs that gather every single day. Did you know, Terry? We have a group of entrepreneurs that gather every single morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every day. And I'm on there teaching and coaching. And not only at me, but I bring on my really, really, really successful friends, my really, really amazing business friends to come teach this organization. We have hundreds of people join the Zoom call every single day. And it's not even in webinar mode. You know, it's like webinar, it's like one screen and then everybody else, you can't see the person. No, it's like all the boxes. We're all there. And we are an amazing community. We have a book club. So we read a book every single month, and every day we read a chapter, and we talk about the chapter that we read. There are people that are reading books, and they haven't read a book since high school.
That's good.
It's absolutely
That's
amazing.
awesome.
And the cool thing is, I'm letting everybody that's listening to this join for just $1
That's what's up.
for a whole week. After that, it's $79 a month, but it is like literally having a conference every day of your life every month. And we have a theme every month, and each call supports the theme, and it's just absolutely amazing. Can you come on and talk to my group at some point? Awesome.
She should have definitely been a part of the January theme. Yeah,
We did
sure.
the Millionaire Mindset. That was the theme of the joint.
Okay.
And I think I probably interviewed maybe 13 millionaires.
Nice.
And I just had a conversation to identify how they think. And I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Remember she was talking about the man. She was like, yo, I don't really forget the aesthetics. Let me tell you what I want in terms of experience.
She didn't even talk about aesthetics.
But we are going to talk about aesthetics.
We are off
After
camera.
this commerciul, we're going to get some aesthetics.
We're gonna get some
about it.
aesthetics. What he look like though, Terry? What he look like? We're gonna get to it. He fine.
Like, go to themorningmeetup.com. You never know, she might be on that thing and you get the Q&A answer in front of people. Anyway, go to themorningmeetup.com, themorningmeetup.com, okay? Enroll for just $1. If you want to stay with us after your trial, feel free, month to month, no obligation. If you don't, just cancel. There's no obligation. They're not going to call you and try to harass you. You either stay or you don't. But our program is so strong, people very rarely leave.
Yeah.
What's up?
Very rarely.
That's
So
great.
yes, go to themorningmeetup.com and enroll right now. Donnie.
This podcast episode is also brought to you by sixfigureedu.com. Sixfigureedu.com, sixfigureedu.com. Terry, did you know that I coach coaches and consultants? I help to develop coaches and consultants from scratch. Whether you want to be a course creator, a one-on-one coach, done for you, done with you, do it yourself services, and you are looking to start, get really clear on what that looks like for you and putting together your program so that you can build a six-figure plus coaching practice, I am your girl. And you enroll in that at www.sixfigureedu.com. That actually will give you access to my calendar
Is it number
to get on the
6 or
phone.
SIX?
It's SIX.
Okay.
SIXfigureedu.com. Thank you for mentioning that. That just sent something
That's
off
what
at
I'm
me.
here
Yeah, so you'll actually be able to get on my calendar. And then also, I offer a resource for existing entrepreneurs called Post to Paid. And this is absolutely incredible because many of the struggles that entrepreneurs have is in their content and what they put out online every single day. So you take these pictures, but you don't know what to say. Not a problem. I give you word for word what to say by helping you to create stories that sell on the internet. And all you got to do is text me so that I can text you 3 times a day. Text Post to Paid to 404-737-2767. 404-737-2767.
It is.
All right.
So,
What do you
thank
look
you.
like though?
Thank you. Before we close out, we got to get them aesthetics about
What do
you.
you
What
look like, though?
You like a big,
I was
tall,
supposed to be saying
short,
something like
skinny?
real,
We
like-
gonna get to that. We gonna get to that.
We're gonna get there.
What you like?
I think I like the basketball build.
Okay.
But men can be handsome in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he come at me with the right conversation, and I'm a hugger. So you give me a good hug.
You want to feel something, though.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear? Okay.
So
You
yeah.
like athletic build for sure.
athletic build. I want to say handsome, but that's so
Yeah.
yeah.
So give us
And here's the thing. I don't want anybody to be. If you round, don't be discouraged because
Don't be
Donnie be
discouraged.
having all these little qualifications, and I feel like when she connect with somebody, she connect with them.
I never connect
So-
with myself. I don't even know if I have a type.
You
Quite
never
honestly.
connect with your type, really.
I never connect with what I imagine my type to be. But the guys that I end up dating they're a type. I don't have they have to be 6'4" or this. That's like on your list of what you write out, but what you ultimately, I connect with vibes.
that's
I'm a
how I
viber.
am.
I connect with vibes and I like to talk. I like intelligent people. I like someone that I can learn from. So I connect with conversation and
But
vibe.
just don't
Mine
get
is
discouraged,
more-
y'all.
Mine is more, I want to feel comfortable and safe in your space. Like, I'm always gonna be like out in front and talking and speaking. Like, I went to seminary, so like I saw myself being like a young adult pastor. So I assume that I'm still gonna be on stages and preaching and teaching. I want to be able to come to sit next to you and just feel safe and secure. Like I could be myself.
I love it.
So that's the qualification.
I love it. Okay, we just had to get that out of there.
But now we got to get to the deep.
Yeah, let us know how we can connect with you. Listen, below there is a link. Click the link so that you can be a part of this this program, because we are going to learn how to get this bag. Okay, so you can do what you really want to do for fun. You don't got to be out there like that. You're going to get your bag at home and go do all your hobbies and stuff later. Okay, so click the link below and be a part. So how can people get in touch with you?
I think if they want to learn about how I make $1,000 in a day, the free webinar is iTradeandTravel.com. Definitely click the link though, so that you can get the discounts for Social Proof. Don't forget to put in promo code Social Proof.
One word.
Yep, one word, so that you can get 10% off. That's $500 off the program. But yet, free webinar at iTradeandTravel.com if they want to learn how to make $1,000 in a day. And then you guys said my social media. So Teri Ijeoma on social media, or Trade and Travel on YouTube.
Good. Okay, now close this out. You got to wrap a bow around this whole podcast, okay? There's somebody in there that's watching like, oh my gosh, I love her lifestyle. Or there's somebody that's feeling really, really discouraged, or they're just confused, or they're just inspired by you. So close this out with a word of wisdom.
I think it comes back to the money can buy you dignity. I think that's probably the thing I want to leave everybody with, that it's not so much money can buy you material things, or money can, buy you a jet or lifestyle. Like, my lifestyle is pretty basic. That's how I will stay a multimillionaire. But the thing is that, like, when I wanted to drive off the lot, when I got to Atlanta, I got this rental car, and they said, you go to the rental car, you pick whatever car you want. They were like, you should go to the King's section, whatever they said, the King section. But I looked around, I didn't like none of the cars in the King section, but in the President section, there was a nice car that I liked. I got in that one and I drove on to the front. And the thought in my head was, if they say something, I can afford it. And it's just that piece of, I know that I have that little bit of extra to get what I actually want.
Yes.
And there's so many times in life where we feel like we can't have what we really want. My mom, she always talks about how she used to go to the grocery store and she didn't have enough money to buy what she really wanted to get. She could only afford what was on the coupons. But now she has enough to go in the grocery store and get whatever. So that's what I'm actually trying to help people get to. It's not that we're trying to make $1 million a day. We're just trying to make enough a day to give us those options and that freedom to really live the way we want to.
Yeah.
Buy a little dignity. Goodness gracious.
Buy a little dignity.
We can't close it out no stronger than that.
We can't.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for having me. Y'all are fired. Like, y'all are just amazing. I've really enjoyed my time here.
It's not even nervous,
I was nervous
right?
before, but y'all made it so comfortable. So thank you.
Thank you for coming, for sure. You are dope.
Yeah, you
Super
are
dope.
amazing.
We gonna light Miami up.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to go. Look, man, we cannot close it out no better than that. Do me a favor. Go get you some social proof, meaning go build something. Like, spend time in your room, spend time in your head, develop, grow, become that person that you see yourself becoming, and go get you some social proof. But I'm asking you to go back to your community and teach somebody how you did it.
Yep.
Okay, go get the social proof, then teach somebody in your community how you did it. Okay, that's how our community grows. Okay, I love y'all. We are out of here. Peace.